He cheated on me after all I have done for him with the work wife he told me not to worry about. Now I will F his best friend and his brother. I helped him get through school and start his dream job. I was there for him for years, working and providing for us, cleaning and making him food so he could concentrate on his dream. He told me he loved me and that I am the best thing that ever happened to him, and I believed him. I am the most beautiful girl and the best sex, and I believed him. Then I met her and I endured her passive-aggressive, patronizing comments about me. He told me not to worry, she was nothing. She was just a buddy he got along with at work. He didn't even find her attractive. She was one of the guys. Friday he came home very late. He usually never comes late after an evening at the bar with his colleagues, but I didn't find it odd. Even that he left my going to bed, love you message on read without answering didn't set my alarms. I just thought he was probably with his friends and didn't want to be rude texting. He didn't kiss me or say anything. Took a long shower and mumbled that he was tired and turned his back on me. He never does that. He always crawls up beside me and starts kissing and hugging me when I am in bed and he falls asleep wrapped around me. He looked like a zombie yesterday and didn't say anything more than that he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. He blamed his mood on being hangover. He went to bed early and I noticed his phone wasn't on the side table. I looked for it and he had left it in his raincoat. She had texted him multiple times about the night they spent together and how she hoped I didn't notice how worn down he was because of it, and how she couldn't stop thinking about the sex and how her pussy wanted to be wrapped around him right now. That bitch told me he loved me and I believed him, and this is what he did with my heart. With the woman he knew hated me and I didn't trust. I will get back at him in the most hurtful way. I will sleep with his best friend who he's known since kindergarten. And his brother. I will ruin him. Just wait and see, dear fiancé.
AITA for telling my wife her behavior might be considered psychologically abusive to our children. My 11-year-old son was at sleepaway camp for 2 weeks. My wife was irritated with him for not writing her a letter. When she saw him at pickup, one of the first things she said to him was that he didn't write her any letters. On the drive home she brought it up again and pointed out that she wrote him a letter and he didn't write back. Then when they got home, he told her he made me a Father's Day gift, and she said, "Well, I'm so glad you think of your father, but you can't write me a letter," and then stormed off. Then when I saw him that evening after work, for the first time in 2 weeks, he seemed dejected and not excited to see me. I asked him what was wrong, and he said he didn't write any letters, and my wife chimed in that another mom got 5 letters from her son. My other 10-year-old son then said, "Mom, stop torturing him." Then over 3 hours later that night he came to me and said Mom is still mad at me about not writing a letter. And it was because on the way home for another event she pointed out a congratulations yard sign that she got for him a few weeks ago, another slightly passive-aggressive maneuver to make him feel guilty. I let her know that her actions might be considered abusive. For further backstory, I have noticed a pattern of persistent expressions of dissatisfaction, minor criticism, passive-aggressive behavior, etc., and have told her it's not any individual thing she is doing but the persistent nature of it that is causing problems. I feel like I will never be able to make her happy as a husband, and it leaves me with a sense of not being good enough. I worry that my children might feel similar feelings. She thinks I'm blowing this way out of proportion, but I think it might be covert narcissistic behavior. I'm not in any position to diagnose someone with a mental health disorder, but when I read the profile it seems to fit very well. It feels like she will hold me or her children in contempt for a relatively minor transgression. And she does this very frequently. I am sincerely worried about the psychological impact on my children because I am feeling the psychological impact on myself. I welcome any and all input on this topic.
AITA for sleeping in a separate room with our baby after my husband lied to me about something stupid. My husband and I have a 5-month daughter, and he was the one who unfortunately got slammed with postpartum symptoms. He has severe PPA and he's in therapy for it. But it's been a bit of an adjustment for me. Nothing went as planned. I realize you can hardly plan most things and have them work out exactly as you planned when you become a parent, but some things. I don't know. AITA absolutely gorgeous nursery, has everything color coordinated, bought a really expensive baby monitor, etc., and my husband refuses to even let the baby sleep in there because of his anxiety. Not even for naps. He will 100% wake her up and bring her out to where we are if I put her for a nap in her crib. If she's not in the room with us, he absolutely loses his mind. Hence, why me sleeping in another room with the baby away from him is an issue. Anyways, he absolutely knows that I hate long vehicle rides with the baby. Anything over 40 minutes is far too long. She hates the car and screams the entire time unless I'm sitting right beside her, and frankly, I don't want to sit in the back seat. I get carsick, irritated, I feel unsafe, accident trauma and trapping because you can't open the back door without opening the front door, so I can't get out of that vehicle without him letting me out, you name it. I just don't like it, and he knows that. Everything we need is within 20 minutes driving distance. All our family lives within 30 minutes. So we have absolutely zero reason to venture outside of this length of time, but he often tries pushing me to. Like last week, he tried getting me to go to some restaurant he wanted to try and tried convincing me that the 3.5 hours round trip ride isn't even that bad. No thanks. Well, yesterday he asked me if I wanted to get out of the house and go for a drive with him because he was going to look at a truck. I asked where it was and he said just on the other side of Albany. Albany is 40-ish minutes from us. So I said sure. Well, we get past Albany and it's been like 20 minutes at this point, so an hour total, and I'm getting irritated with being in the back seat, so I ask when we will get there. He checks the GPS and says 43 minutes. I was pissed. I asked him why TF he lied and told me it was right on the other side of Albany, and he gave some sad-assed I thought it was answer, which I do not buy for a single second. It was an hour and 58-minute car ride there, 40 minutes easily that he spent talking to the guy with the truck, just to decide he didn't want it, and then the 2.5 hours drive home, traffic. When we got back home, I immediately grabbed the baby and went to our guest room and locked the door and just went to sleep. It was 8 p.m. I hadn't eaten yet, but I was too pissed to eat. The baby screamed the entire car ride home. Once he realized the door was locked, he started doing his panicked/anxiety pacing, saying that I'm overreacting. Saying don't do this to me. Texted me a bunch of times. When I woke up in the morning, I almost tripped over him because he fell asleep leaning against the door. He says I'm a fucking cunt for doing that, knowing how bad his anxiety is and overdramatic as hell to do so over an uncomfortable car ride. ETA, for the record, he knew if he had told me how far away it was I would have said no and not gone. He has anxiety about going that long without checking on the baby himself, so it was a him issue. He even moved to remote work just so he didn't have to leave the baby. As I said, he's in therapy, but no, he refuses medications and doesn't follow the pointers the therapist has suggested to help his anxiety because he can't. Whenever I tell him how much his anxiety is affecting me and the baby's peace, he says in sickness and health, remember? It won't be like this forever. AITA for denying my husband a hall pass even though I don't meet his sexual needs. So my husband, 36M, and I, 36F, have been together for 8 years, married for 3.5 years. We have a daughter together and I have a son with a different dad, they're 3 and 11. I am the breadwinner in the family. I work remote full-time and bring in almost double his income. He works outside the home doing a job that doesn't pay well but has always been his passion. His hours are iffy in evening and weekends and requires traveling. Regardless of if he is working or not, I manage the entire mental and physical load of the house. Extracurricular, school, mornings, 90% of the time, school pickups, doctors, bath time, bedtime, dentists, laundry, cleaning, clothes, homework, groceries, meals/cooking, dishes, etc. He doesn't eat with us and only eats the snacks and does DoorDash for every meal. His chores consist of his laundry, which he doesn't do except one load every few weeks when he's desperate, taking the trash bins to the curb and mowing the lawn/shoveling. If I ask for specifics, it will sometimes get done if it's easy, like bath or folding a load of the kids' clothes. But I have to ask. I am exhausted. I go non-stop and never get a break. Both kids prefer me and it upsets him, though if he is home he is just on his phone on Instagram or working, which is just texting. We went to dinner as a family and I asked if he could put his phone away for 1 hour and he simply said no. And didn't. I feel like my patience is stretched with the kids and my resentment is leaking over into my parenting. I resent how easy his life is. How everything just gets done. If I bring it up he gets defensive, attacks me about how terrible I am or how I'm his biggest mistake. Then decides to show me how much he truly does by not doing his few tasks a week, and it proves my point because I'd never not be able to show up every day and I take care of it all when he travels anyways. There isn't anything he does I can't handle personally or outsource. He wanted a BJ and sex for Father's Day. I didn't. It's been a long time, but I'm mentally and physically drained. I don't feel attracted to a man I have to mother who doesn't relieve my stress or to-do plate. He decided to ask for a hall pass or open relationship, saying it's only fair for what he has to put up with. Yes, I'm short with him, I admit it. I'm annoyed and frustrated and can't get him to see where I'm coming from, and it's probably immature, but I'm tired, guys. I don't want to ask for every little thing. And for those who want me to. I asked him to clean the garage before he left for his first trip this summer, and he said okay and didn't do so. I took off work for a day to get it done. Then I asked him to clean the pile of his clean clothes out of the laundry room before the cleaning people came, and he swore in the morning then didn't. It isn't just asking. He needs constant follow-up and reminders. So AITA for not wanting to give him sex or
For
the
more
hall
stories,
pass?
please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks.